What is up, everybody? This is Princess Birdbrain. I'm back with another round of birds. It looks like I'm the second player to choose and in the turn order, so here we go. Let's see what we have. All right, I like this selection. I really like the Northern Goshawk. That's what I call him. If you're new here, he's probably a goosehawk. I like calling him the Goshawk. You can use two birds to play him, just to tuck behind him in your forest row just right off the bat so you can start getting more food. I like the lazuli bunting. He can help you get extra eggs. Every time you lay eggs, you can get at least four. But yeah, the problem is that he gives other players eggs as well, but I think he's more of an advantage than a disadvantage. I also tend to like the double-crested cormorant if I'm doing a water-heavy game strategy. I also like Major Mitchell's Cockatoo, depending on my goals. Let's see what's in the tray to inform our other choices. Got a Swainson's Hawk. This is a good prairie bird. Can earn you points by caching other birds behind him if he's successful. This one can give you extra eggs at the end of each round. This one gives you extra cards. Let me see what my bonus card options are. Okay, I like to tuck a lot of birds, so I don't usually go for the visionary leader because I don't normally have a lot of birds left over. This one makes the most sense for me, especially since I already have the option of the double-crested cormorant in my hand. Common kingfisher I am not interested in because he's expensive and doesn't really, I don't know, tend to pay off for me most of the time. If I was able to steal the fish and then keep it, then I could use it for this. But since it would just be stealing and caching, I'm not too interested. So I think these are going to be the three birds that I decide to play in my habitats. I'm going to also take both of these to potentially use behind this bird to play him as soon as possible. I might end up saving the cockatoo though. So since we're taking all 5 birds, I don't get to choose any extra food, but at least we have a nectar. All right, we'll wait here while this third player chooses their birds. Let's take a look at our round goals and see what we're going for here. Beak pointing left, I have one at least that will qualify for that round goal. The other two that I had planned on playing soon do not qualify because their beaks are pointing the wrong way. If I decide to play Major Mitchell's Cockatoo, which I might, that would be another bird that would qualify for this round goal. I like this bird if I'm going to be getting a lot of cards, and especially since I can tuck 2 behind this bird every time I get a fish, I might be using my water row fairly frequently, so I might have some extra cards on my hand to tuck behind Major Mitchell's Cockatoo. Tuck it, get a wheat, especially if I could combine this bird with a sandhill crane or whichever other one, Canada goose. Both of those are great birds if you have wheat. If you come into a lot of wheat, then you can use it to tuck 2 cards behind those birds. So a combination with those would be great. I'm going to go ahead and take this Swainson's Hawk. I think I'm not going to take the fire-fronted Saren. I like this bird, but I think I'm probably going to use my prairie fairly regularly, so I don't need necessarily extra eggs at the end of every round, especially since I have very little food. It's probably most important to prioritize getting a bird down quicker. At the same time, though, I could go ahead and spend a nectar for an extra card so that I can tuck this bird and the kingfisher behind the goshawk in order to play him. I think I'll actually do that. So there we go. First turn. Oh, right off the bat, this player has played the Black Naughty. That's an expensive bird for your first turn. They must have... Look, they only have one other card left in their hand, so they took 2 cards and had 3 foods, and they used all of their food and their nectar to play this bird on their first turn. I'm very curious to see what this bird is in their hand, because I personally would want to get a forest row bird down first so that I could get 2 foods instead of just 1. The longer you wait to get a good forest bird played, the harder the rest of the game is, because you're just scrambling for food the whole time. So we'll see what they end up playing. I like these birds in the tray. If I didn't already have so many in my hand, I would take them. This one, the Galah, is too good to pass up, though. I'm definitely going to take that bird. So with the Galah, you can essentially have a guaranteed 2-card tuck every time you use him, because all you have to do is reset the bird feeder. The downside is that it gives another player a wheat, but the upside of that is that I get to choose which player gets wheat, so I can kind of control who's getting that advantage. So I'll be keeping an eye on both players throughout the game to see which one would benefit the least out of an extra wheat. So if I don't like any of the birds in the tray on my next turn, I'll probably go ahead and play this guy just to get him in my forest so I can start accumulating more food so that I can play maybe the Galah next. I really like the idea of playing Swainson's Hawk, but when you have a guaranteed 2 points every time, it's good to go ahead and get that one down as soon as possible. So I'm going to use Fire-Fronted Siren and Kingfisher to pay for the Go Shock. And there you go. No, what I was going to say is I have several really good prairie birds. So the Galah will give me 2 cached or 2 tucked cards every time I use him. When I tuck a card behind Major Mitchell's Cockatoo, I'll also get a wheat. Swainson's Hawk could potentially tuck a card as well. And then Lazuli Bunting, all players lay 1 egg, and I get to lay an extra egg. So when you have him down, I'll have at least these 2 eggs plus 2 more every turn, if I can get another bird with a similar nest. So I'll need to draw one of those eventually. But yeah, it's looking like right off the bat, I think I'm going to have my initial strategy going forward is to build up my prairie, because I think I'm going to get a lot of points that way. So I need some nectar. I need 3 wheats in order to play the Galah. I'd like to get the Galah down as soon as possible because he's a guaranteed couple of points every time I use them, whereas this one is hit or miss, and this one depends on me having a card to tuck, and this one I need another bowl nest in order to take full advantage. So I'm going to take this wheat. Let's roll. I'll take another nectar. So I think next time, if those 2 fish are still there, I'm going to take both of them. And then that way I'll be able to play the Galah and the double-crested cormorant on my final 2 turns of this round. And I should have 1 fish left over, so that would be very useful at the beginning of the next round, where I could draw cards and then tuck 2 behind this bird as I do that. So I'm hoping those 2 fish will stay in the bird feeder so I can snatch them up. I love tucking cards behind birds. It's one of my favorite strategies. Sometimes players will steal all the tucking birds so that I don't get a chance to do that, but I've kind of lucked out so far to get a handful of really good birds in my hand. So, oh, there are no more fish. That's still okay. I'll go ahead and do a nectar, and I could use a rat or a worm. I think I'm going to be strategic in picking just the rat, so that the next player doesn't automatically get a free reroll there. Still planning to play the Galah on my next turn, and then the Cormorant after that. I saw that somebody played the olive-backed Sunbird. This is nice because it's a way whenever they get food, I can get food. You don't really have a lot of control over what you roll, but hey, anytime you can get extra food that you're not having to get on your own turn, the better. That is a really useful thing. So I might have to repay the favor to that person when I'm choosing someone later down the line to give my wheat to. Especially since if I do this and my Major Mitchell's in the same turn, I'll be giving away 2 foods every time. So let's see. Yes, I'll go ahead and use 3 nectar on that. And then on my next turn, I will use a nectar and probably a wheat to play this bird, even though I don't necessarily have to use a nectar. Well, yes, I guess I do because I don't have a fish, but I don't have any eggs. And then my nectar is going to disappear at the end of this round, so I need to use it or lose it. I always like to use it. If you're new here, the more nectar you use, the better. It keeps track of it over here. I so far have spent the most nectar in my prairie, so you can see by the star that I'm winning that goal. In my water row, I am tied for first place. I'm going to choose this. See what I can roll. Oh, I got a fish. Look there. I'm going to save that for the beginning of the next round so that I can tuck 2 cards behind this bird. But yes, you want to get as much nectar as possible. If you have the most at the end of the round in the various habitats, you can earn extra points. You also get points if you are the second place player in each habitat. So that's something I really like to do. Nectar is very useful. And I'm not going to spin this fish because I want to save the fish. So I'm going to do nectar and a wheat. There we go. So that is the end of the first round. I at least got on the board with the round goals. Let's see how everybody else is doing. Okay, so I'm tied for second place at the moment, unless this player plays another bird that qualifies for the round goal. Either way, I'm happy because at least, well, I guess took a point away from this other player rather than them getting an extra point. So, okay, so it's my turn to choose. I definitely want this Godwit. That will give me a new bonus card. The Common Mina lets me copy the when activated power of a bird of the next player in their prairie. Let's see what they have in their prairie. Ooh, okay, so I could potentially use their predator bird to cache more rats on my own bird. So I think I'm going to take both of those. Even if it's not successful every time, I don't want anybody else to be able to copy my good prairie bird, so I'm going to snatch him up. And then we just tucked 2 cards behind the cormorant using a fish. I still am in need of another coffee cup nest, bowl nest bird, so that I can start making the most of this one and laying lots of eggs. But this could be a good option if I weren't planning to lay so many eggs throughout the game. This bird can go anywhere, well, in your forest or your prairie, and his power is that you can choose a habitat with no eggs in it and then lay 1 egg on each bird in the habitat. I like birds like this bird specifically. Whenever I am, oh, that's nice, a free egg. Whenever I am planning to use my forest or my water row more than my prairie, as it is, I don't feel like I'm going to be hurting for eggs in this game, so I'm going to wait for a bowl nest bird with a higher point value that could be of more use to me. I'm going to go ahead and grab some nectar. So the question is, what do I want to play next? I have one bird in my forest that qualifies for the round goal. I'm planning to play the rest of these birds in my prairie. And I don't currently have a good bird for my forest. However, this crossbill would be nice. It's a high point bird. It has a coffee cup nest that I was talking about. If it's still in the tray, I don't think I want to spend a whole turn drawing, but my black-tailed godwit has the ability to draw 3 new cards. So if I get more food, play the godwit, I'd be able to draw the crossbill and then potentially play him before the end of the round as well. So I think I'm going to get food next. I don't have my heart set on the crossbill, so if he disappears, that's fine. But he'd be another high point bird with good value for me if I'm able to draw him. If not, no worries. I have lots of other birds I want to play in the meantime. Oh, this is great. I would love to get a worm, a wheat, or a nectar. And there's a nectar. That way I don't even have to spend a turn getting more food. I already have an egg, so I can play this card on my next turn. That is fantastic. So hopefully the crossbill will still be available for me. All right, it is. So let's play this. This is also nice because the godwit is another bird that qualifies for the bonus card. Oh my goodness. Consecutive birds with ascending or descending wingspans. This is what I get for not reading closely. I looked at that water icon and assumed it was just all birds that could only live in the water habitat. But I actually should have considered earlier that I need to go for them being in a certain order. This one has a wingspan of 132. This one is 76. So from here, I'm just going to need to make sure the ones I play after, at least 1 or 2 more, have a smaller wingspan than 76. That shouldn't be too hard to do, I don't think. So I'm glad I caught that early. Okay, birds that eat only worms. Not my favorite bonus card, but you know, sometimes you luck out and draw a bunch of those. I like the red crossbill better than the other 2 for his point value and the benefit that he'd give me when combined with my lazuli bunting. And then also when I get food, I can get extra wheat. I'm just going to be giving out so much wheat in this game. That might be a problem, but I will do it thoughtfully when the time comes. So next I'm going to need to get 2 wheats or 2 nectars in order to play him in my forest before the end of the round. We still have 4 turns left, so that should be no problem whatsoever. I'll need to lay eggs unless somebody gives me an egg. Who has that bird that gives me an egg? Green pheasant. This is my friend. This bird is my friend, I should say. I have no idea who the player is. All players lay 1 egg. Yes, I would love to lay an egg, so maybe they'll use it again before the end of the round. Oh, Wilson Snipe. Actually, I think I'm going to draw him because he would satisfy 2 of my bonus card requirements. He's smaller in wingspan than both of these birds, and he eats a worm, so he would be worth spending a turn to draw. And I would still potentially be able to get food and an egg in order to play my crossbill before the end of the round. Okay, gonna draw this bird. Oh, that's nice. I'd like that, since I will have his power, if you didn't see, was at the end of the round, you can activate all of the brown powers of all your other predator birds. And since I am planning to have the Swainson's hawk eventually, I'll get to, if I can get him down quick enough, then I will be able to use his power at the end of each round, just an extra time to try and get another card cached. Or another card tucked, I mean. Okay, what food can we get? I see that, and there's no wheat. No wheat in the tray, but instead of playing the bull nest bird with 2 wheats, I could play Oriental Bay Owl using a nectar and a rat, and I already have a rat. And I could get a fish for next time I have to draw birds so that I'm able to tuck. So pivoting a little bit from my plan to get the crossbill in my forest, but that's okay. This bird works just as well, and maybe by the end of round 3 I will have a Swainson's hawk. So far I'm not quite living up to my plan for using my prairie row as often as I thought. Within the next several turns, I'd like to build that up. So I think I need to be done drawing cards for a little while, and focus on getting the birds that I have down played. I'm going to go ahead and put these in the stick nest, since later on that's a round goal. Okay, somebody's going to get a wheat. Who is it going to be? This person already has a lot of food. They have 3 cards they could play. They have eggs. I don't think, if I give them a wheat, they already have all the food they need. So it's not like I would be the difference in making them play a bird. This person only has 2 fish. And I think giving them a wheat might benefit them more than this person. So I'm going to give the person who's already swimming in food a lot of wheat. And that way I get to tuck 2 cards. They'll take that wheat from the bird feeder. And I'm going to tuck that in my mind that I gave the purple player wheat on this turn. So next time I will probably give it to the blue player, just so I am not giving too much to any one person, unless it seems wise to do so. Both players already have 3 birds in their forest, so it doesn't really matter if I play a forest bird right now or not. Since I care more about my prairie, actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and play the Swainson's hawk in my prairie. Round 3 goal is to have action cubes on play a bird, like most birds played in one round. So that works well for me since I have a lot of birds I want to play. So let's go ahead and put Swainson's hawk there. That will also be helpful for the 4th round goal, because I can start putting more eggs in my stick nest birds. So far I have 7 potential places for eggs in a stick nest birds. This is not the one where number of eggs matters though, so it's just how many birds with stick nests have egg on them. So far I have 3 birds that can help me qualify for that round goal. This player has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but they can't lay very many eggs at one time. And then this player only has 2, so I should be in contention there for the birds with the stick bird goal at the end. So hopefully over the next couple of rounds I will make some solid gains in those areas. Okay, yeah, I'm glad I didn't go for playing tons of birds in my forest because both of those players ended up with 4 and they ended up splitting the points there. That is fantastic. I might go ahead and draw this rook if nobody else takes him. I can cash 1 from my supply on this bird or tuck 1 from my hand. If I do either, tuck 1 from the deck behind this bird. My rationale here is that if I can play him, he'll be a 4th stickness bird for me. And then I could play my Major Mitchell's Cockatoo next after that. I'm just going to draw this bird because it'll be a good one to tuck later. And then I'm going to spend my fish to tuck 2. I'm getting to the point where I'm not going to be able to play all these cards, nor would some of them be that helpful to me after all. So early in the game, I had hoped to have more lazuli bunting usage, but without other bowl nest birds, it's not really that advantageous because it's just an extra egg for everybody. So I think I'm going to prioritize getting the rook down, then Major Mitchell's Cockatoo, and then I'll use a lot of these extra cards to tuck behind the Cockatoo and then get a wheat, which I can then cash on the rook, and the rook, that will let me tuck another bird. So I'll be able to get numerous points just by tucking these cards. Oh, and look at that. A free cherry. That is so helpful because what I need to do is play this rook next, and I can use a cherry for that. I do want to make sure and get down this Wilson snipe at some point because he'll help me get the minimum for this bonus card, so I'll have 3 bonus points, and then he'll help me get 2 points for him eating only worms. So that's 5 extra points I can get just by playing him with a single worm and a single egg, so that feels beneficial to me. I'm not going to go for any higher round goal on this unless I just happen to draw a bird or see a bird that is smaller than the snipe and has a decent point value. That sounds rare. In this column, you have to spend 2 eggs, and so unless the point value is super high, it's not really worth spending 2 eggs because you only get 2 extra bonus points for playing a bird like that. So for the rest of the game, I think my go-to strategy is going to be finish building up this row using my Major Mitchell's Cockatoo, and then I might save the parrot crossbill. Okay, let's see, wheat. Oh, there's a worm I need, so I'm gonna use that for Wilson snipe. What I was gonna say is that the red crossbill could be easy to play if I come into 2 wheats and want to use them to play a bird. That would be, a decent point value and easy to play, only cost 1 egg. I think I'm going to also forego using the common Mina. He's only a 1-point bird, and spending 2 eggs on that at this point in the game doesn't feel worth it. Okay, there's the Wilson snipe. So I've already played 2 birds for this round goal. Let's see how the other players are doing. I'm ahead at the moment. I like that. So I think my next round of business will be, I'll probably get, I would love it if there were 2 wheats in the tray or 2 nectars, but if I'll probably take that wheat, maybe the fish. Yeah, because I can't play Mitchell's Cockatoo without 2 wheats. The fish could be beneficial though if I want to draw cards one more time, just so I have like an excess to tuck behind the rook and behind Major Mitchell's Cockatoo. Now would be a great time for one of the other players to give me another food. But I can't count on that. I'll probably go ahead and lay eggs on this next turn, actually. Just in case I get to draw another food. Well, roll for another food if another player gives me that option. If I end up with 2 wheats, then I would be able to play it if I had eggs laid. But right now I have no eggs, so there's no chance of me playing a third bird in this round unless I lay eggs. So I think I'll go ahead and do that. And then I might roll for more food just so I can play this right off the bat next time. Oh, that's nice. I'll take it. Every little bit adds up. So we're gonna lay some eggs. So I could either cache a food or tuck a card. I have so many cards right now, I'm gonna go ahead and tuck one. I'm gonna tuck this. And then that is successful. Okay, I gave to the purple player last time. I'm gonna just go ahead and give to the blue. So that was nice because I got to lay 2 eggs, tuck 2 cards, another card, and another 2 cards. So I tucked 5 cards in that single turn, which feels great. Still ahead on, oh, I'm not ahead on the round goal. I thought I played 3. No, I didn't play 3, I played 2. Now, I'm debating do I want to use the berry and the fish as a wheat substitute so that I can play one more bird for the round goal? Or do I want to save that, use the fish to draw more cards so that I'll have lots of cards? I could use cards for extra eggs, I could use cards for tucking, and maybe another player will give me one more food at some point that I could double up on or use, and I could use this fish for my cormorant. Leaning toward that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just draw some tuckable cards here. All players draw 1, sure. And then I get to tuck 2 more. So from here on, I plan to play Major Mitchell's Cockatoo and then just lay eggs the whole rest of the game. Hopefully I'll get 1 more food, but if I don't, I'll have to roll for food. I hear some dogs barking outside my window. I don't know if you heard that as well, but it sounded mildly terrifying. So if you happen to hear that, that's what that was. But hopefully everything's okay. All right. To be clear, they are not my dogs. We are cat people. We have 4 cats. All right. I lost the round goals, but these 2 players split the points again. So they only got 2 more points than me once again. So that's totally cool with me. Which player is this? Okay, this is the player that has the mini colored fruit dove. Maybe they will give me another, oh, it looks like they might have re-rolled. So if they give me another berry, that would be wonderful, because that way I can play Major Mitchell on the first turn of this round and then just lay eggs every other turn. Well, they did not do that. So we'll go ahead and take what we need. And then get to playing. So I don't have any nectar up here at all. Let's see. It doesn't matter that I don't have nectar because there's no way I'm going to get at least 3 to be able to be competitive for this nectar goal. Wow, these players definitely seem to be prioritizing nectar and round goals. So I'll be curious to see how things shake out at the end of the game. Neither of them have eggs. So I'm hoping that will be my advantage. That even though after I play Major Mitchell's Cockatoo, I will, hopefully accumulate so many eggs and tucked cards points that it will make up for my lack of round goals and nectar points. So, I'm doing well on the nectar, actually. Oh, that's so funny. I am winning nectar in these two habitats. I got my icon confused with the other purple player, so I guess I'm doing fine on that front. When I play on the Nintendo Switch, I usually use a green icon, so I'm still getting used to this purple. No, we're going to use the nectar for fun. Here we go, using my 2 eggs. And then it's about to be an egg bonanza. I have 18 egg slots. I'll be able to play 4 eggs on every turn. So I'll be using 12 of those slots at least. Kind of depends on if this player starts giving away free eggs as well. I might be able to have even more. And then I'll be tucking. Hopefully Swainson's Hawk will also be productive. He was helpful. He tucked the one bird that I asked him to tuck, and he's kind of hit or miss though. I like these other ones because you can guarantee points every single time. You can control that by having cards to tuck or having food to cache. So here we go. So I gotta make sure I put eggs on all my stick nest birds. I'm gonna discard a card so that I have an extra egg. And then I'm gonna tuck. And then I'm gonna use one of the foods. How about this? Actually, just in case I feel like playing another bird instead of laying eggs, that lets me tuck a card. Yes, he was successful. Tuck another card. Okay, we gave 2 blue last time. Let's give to purple. Tucking 2 more. So far we have 2, 8, 10, 14, 15, 21 things either cached or tucked. And that's great. So we also have 4 stick nest birds qualifying for the round goal. Wow, 7. Maybe they have that bonus card. They might have stick nests for the bonus card. They're 1 bonus card. And yeah, how about this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, I might be losing this round goal too. I have never seen 2 players be that strong at every round goal. Usually one person tends to dominate it, and then the other 2 people kind of make the best of it. But you can tell the round goals are a big priority for both of these players. Sometimes a priority for me, sometimes not. Just depends on what other things I'm going for in the game. Yes. So yeah, I'm feeling happy with my plan. Got my 2 bonus cards. At least I have a few points on the board. These could definitely be stronger. I wish I had like the wild food bonus card or the bonus card where rats are involved, or even if I'd had birds that can only live in the prairie. I had 4 birds in my hand that could have satisfied that. But that's okay. We're going to make the most of what we have. Discarding all these extra cards. Tucking. And then cashing. And tucking. Alright, he was successful again. And I think we did purple last time. It was blue. Oh, let's just look and see who has more. Okay. Both of them have plenty of food. Let's just go with the blue. And then I'll have one more turn left after this. 76 points. Not the highest score. At least I am doing well on the nectar. Not terrible on the round goals, despite losing them. It would be a lot worse if one of these players had gotten the high points every time. But since they've been splitting the points most of the time and they're on track to split them again, that's not the worst situation. All right. I am ready for my turn. They're probably choosing a bonus card right now with that spoonbill. I'm wondering if they have the bonus that lets you get 3 points if you have 3 different birds of varying colors in your column. So they might have 6 points for that if they have it. I like to try and guess other people's bonus cards. I wouldn't be surprised if they have the rat bonus card or the predator bonus card. That'd be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 points if they had the rat one. 8 points if they had the predator card. So they're also set up pretty well if they have the wild food, because that would be 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also good if they have the card for birds that can live in different habitats. Yeah, they're set up very well on their bonus cards. So this one only has 1 bonus card. They're going to get to lay a bunch of eggs at the end of the game, since this bird, the little pied cormorant, lets them lay an egg on each of their stick birds. If they're going to play another bird, they should use this egg for it, though. Unless they're unless they care more about winning the round goal, because they won't be able to lay an egg on him at the end of the game if that's full. Yeah. So, interesting strategies everywhere. All right, my turn. Going forward with all the egg laying I've planned. I have enough cards to use another one again. And tuck. And let's go ahead and tuck one. That way I have extra food in case we need a tiebreaker situation. He's too big to be eaten. Sorry, musk duck. Then go with purple this time. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with how many cards I've tucked, how much food I've cached. I have 10, 12, 15, 10, 12, 15, 17, 26, 32 extra points from the caching and the tucking, 12 eggs. This player only has 1 thing cached and nothing tucked. This player similarly has no cached or tucked, but the magpie will change that. They'll get to cache 2 from the supply, 2 wheats onto this bird using eggs, so they'll have probably 6 cached at the end of the game, and they just got 1 here. 15 eggs, pretty good. 11 eggs, and they're gonna get probably 6 or 7 more. So the egg front, we're all in similar standing on that. So it might come down to my tucked and cached situation. It might come down to them when demolishing me on these round goals. And I did decent on the nectar. The bluebird has the most for sure. So yeah, we're gonna see who wins. I'm not sure what to expect. If I lose, I think it will be close. If I win, I think it will be close. Okay, so I'm on the very bottom row. Let's see. So they're ahead of me in bird points. At least they didn't have a ton of bonus cards. There were the round goals. Eggs, I did okay. Food on cards. Tucked cards. This is where I could potentially catch up or surpass. And there we go. Hey, it worked out better than I hoped. The scores were kind of close at the end, and it was just a pretty fun game. I really enjoyed playing against these players. Enjoyed seeing their strategy of round goals and just seeing how their points all worked out in the end. Let's see what bonus cards they were working with. Oh, they had the bonus card that I thought I had. And hey, they got 3 points from it, the same that I ended up getting on mine. This one was going for those. There just were not a lot of those birds in the tray at all, as I know, because I was trying to get them myself. And this is a difficult one to do, much like my water row. I think this one's even harder than the water row because in your forest row, you're using it so much that you really want to get birds played as quickly as possible. And you kind of want certain birds that will either cache points or give you extra food. And it's harder to play them in the order of wingspan or score. That can sometimes really throw off what food you're able to get and, just help you not make the most of your forest row. So that's a hard one. They did well to get 3 points. To Manuchka and Mally Morris, thank you so much for playing. I really enjoyed our game, and I wish you luck in your future birding endeavors. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll be back soon with another video.